Okay, adding integers. We did this last year. This is nothing new to you. This would have been the second lesson of the year for you 7th graders last year, if you remember correctly. Some of you will remember how to do this. Some of you need a refresher. Some of you didn't remember at all how to do this last year, didn't know how to do it all. Hopefully by now you've grown up a little bit, your brain is growing, and you're going to catch on to this right away, okay? First of all, absolute value bars, remember those from yesterday? What's a number that could be x? Ella? -4. What's another number that could be x? Haley? 4. You're right. Good job. That was a question that tripped up the 7th graders, so I wanted to make sure that you guys knew what was going on. All right, so the property, probably one of the only vocabulary words you have today is this, additive inverse property. And that just means when you add two numbers together, a whole number and its opposite, it's always going to be 0. It's one of the only vocabulary words is additive inverse, and that means when you add two numbers, a whole number and its opposite together, if you add them together, its answer is always going to be 0. So here's an example I have down there. 9 plus -9 is 0. This goes for any whole number and its opposite. You could do -4 and 4. You could do 5 and -5. So anything that you're adding together and its opposite, answer is always 0. We're going to talk about that a little bit later as well. Anybody still need this yet? See if it works today. Nope. Okay. All right, so I just have 2 ways to add integers. There should be 3 ways to add integers. We talked about these 3 ways last year. Any of them ring a bell to you? Cats and dogs, maybe a little bit. Tiles, maybe a little bit. Number line, not one of my favorites because you don't always have a number line with you. And sometimes we don't even make our number lines correctly. So that's not one of my favorites. I think that's how you were taught in 6th grade maybe, just using the number line. I'm going to go over all of these ways so you can remember, have an idea of maybe what you used last year. Maybe you remember how to do it right off the bat. That's wonderful. But I need to make sure everybody hears everything. So we're going to talk about number line, tiles, cats, and dogs. First thing we're going to talk about is the number line. So if you want to know more about the number line, if you have your number line and you add a positive, you're always going to move to the right on the number line. Okay? If you're adding a negative, you're going to move to the left on the number line. This is why I don't like this one very much. Like I said, not one of my favorites because even that's kind of hard to remember. Okay? But I'm just going to show you anyway. So this is how it works. Let's say this is my problem, 3 plus -5. So the first thing I'm going to do on my number line is I'm going to find where 3 is on my number line. Okay? And then I'm going to look to see what I'm adding to it. What am I adding to it? I'm adding a -5, right? So which way am I going to move on my number line? To the left, right? Okay, so we're going to move left how many spaces? 5, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wherever I end up, that's my answer. Okay? It actually is a pretty good way if you don't have huge numbers. So another one I'm going to go over is something like this. Okay, so let's say I have -1 plus 3. I'm going to find -1 on my number line. I always find the first number. I'm going to add 3 to it. Am I going to go to the left or the right this time? To the right. So I'm going to move to the right 3 spaces. 1, 2, and 3, wherever I end up. That's my answer. And I'm going to do one more quickly. So let's say I add -4 plus -3. Well, I'm going to find 4 and -4 on my number line. And how many spaces am I going to move this time? 3 to the left, right? So 1, 2, 3. There it is. That's where I end up. So that's how you use the number line. Okay? I'm guessing a lot of you won't use it, but I just want to make sure you know how it works. So my next one, we're going to skip past here, is tiles. Some of you really liked this last year because you could see it on your desk, and maybe, hopefully, it'll come back to you in a second. But a few things we got to talk about first is what some of these tiles mean. Well, red tiles are negative numbers, and you can see on the number line up there all my numbers are red. And then the positive tiles are actually yellow, even though they're black up there, they're yellow. It's just the number that's associated with a positive number. And then a zero pair is when you have a red and a yellow tile put together. Now, what does that symbolize, a red and a yellow tile? Remember before? Yeah, go ahead, Alex. Zero. Or remember before we talked about our additive inverse property where you add two opposites together and it means zero? That's basically a zero pair. So a red would be like a negative and a yellow would be a positive. Well, guess what? It's a zero. That's why it's called a zero pair. Okay? I'm going to talk about zero pairs a lot from now on, so make sure you know what a zero pair is. It's basically just a red and a tile together, red and a yellow tile together, or it's like a -1 and a 1 together. That cancels out. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes, no, maybe so? How about we give me a head nod? All right. Okay, good. Now let's talk about the tiles and how they work again. If this is my problem, does anybody remember what I would start with on my desk with my tiles? And you can do this with me because you have them on your desk. Susanna and Alex passed them out. So you can get mad at them if you don't have enough. But what am I going to start with on my desk? Does anybody remember? What am I going to start with? Ella? Yep, so, or just the first one. So I have a +5. So what am I going to have? I'm going to have 5 what on my desk? 5 yellows. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now I'm going to add 3 negatives to it. So what else do I need on my desk then, do you think, Haley? 3 reds. 1, 2, and 3. Oops. Okay. Now, does anybody remember what we did next? Haley? Okay, and why did we do that? Because they're known as what? Zero pair. They cancel each other out. So how many zero pairs can I make here? This, this, this. What do I have left? Then that'd be my answer then. That would be my answer, that +2. Does anybody remember doing this last year a little bit? Some of you really like the tiles. Some of I think I even gave tiles for you to take home and use on your homework. So if you want to do something like that again, you're more than welcome. Easy way to tell how many zero pairs you can make. How can I tell how many zero pairs I can make? Maybe without even doing my tiles. What can I look at to figure out how many zero pairs I can make? What can I look at? Ella? Okay, so let's go off that. Look at the numbers. Which one's the smallest one? 3 or 5? Don't even look at the negatives. The 3, right? That means I can make 3 zero pairs. So now Ella says, well, I'm going to take 3 minus 5 because I got to take away 3 of those red ones. And what do I have left? That's another easy way to do it too. So let's do some more tile stuff quick, just to make sure we're on the same page. Let's look at this one. Okay, so what would you put on your desk for this one? What are you going to put on your desk? Kale, what are you going to put on your desk? What are you going to start with? Yes, good job. Good job. 4 yellow, 5 reds. How many zero pairs can I make? Elena? I can make 4. So they're going to go away. Cancel, 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 cancel. He's the Lone Ranger out there. Haley? -1's my answer. Good job. Good job. Let me tell you right now, these are the types of problems, not this one. This one is what most people have trouble with. And I don't know why. What am I going to start with on my desk, Haley? 2 reds and 3 reds. Do I have any zero pairs I can make? No. So it's my answer. -5. The reason why people get these confused is because they think they have to have reds and yellows in every problem. Do you have to have reds and yellows in every problem? Heck no. Think when you were young, like 2 plus 4, those are all positive numbers, right? Like you don't always have to have red and yellows in every problem. That's why some people always get confused about this stuff. Okay, so don't think you have to have that. You know this one. What's that one? 0. Good job. Any questions on how tiles work? All right, let's talk about cats and dogs. This is the one some of you were like, I don't understand cats and dogs. Some of you didn't understand cats and dogs last year, and that's fine. But you might this year. Here's the third way. I have cats as negative. Doesn't mean I don't like cats. Okay, I just made them negative. Dogs, positive. Now, it works the same way as tiles, only in your head. It's a way you can think about it in your head. So if I have -7 plus 2, how many cats am I going to have? 7. How many dogs am I going to have? 2. Let's pretend they're in this room, chasing each other around. What does a cat and a dog represent? A 0 pair, right? So how many 0 pairs can I have then, Bella? I can only have 2 0 pairs. So let's say a dog and a cat run out of the room, another dog and a cat run out of the room. What do I have left in this room? Yeah, -5. Or 5 cats. Don't let you forget that, because sometimes you'll say, oh, I have 5 cats. You just put 5, but what are cats? They're negative, so you have to remember that. Okay, so let's do another one here. Let's do -15 plus 4. In my room, I have 15 cats. What do I have for dogs, Haley? 4 dogs. How many 0 pairs can I make? Just 4, right? Haley, Grease, what do you got? -11. Good job. How are we doing? Good, okay. We're going to practice a little bit yet. So I got a few I want you to practice with on your notebook. Do them all. See if you can get them. Think of cats and dogs if you need to. Some of you last year, seriously, if this was the problem, you seriously wrote out cats and dogs. If you need to do something like that, it's okay. It's okay. Is that how many cats are? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oops, I put an extra one on it. I was talking and doing it at the same time. Do what you need to do, okay? Some of you will be able to do this in your head. That's great. If you need to draw some things out, draw some things out. The goal is to get you to be able to do it in your head, though. That's the goal. Are you guys ready? Anybody need a few seconds yet? Nobody needs any more time? All right, let's talk about the first one, though. -15 plus 20. -15 plus 20. How about somebody you haven't heard from yet today? Brant. 5 is correct. Good job. You can make 15 0 pairs. So you have 5 left over. You're right. 60 plus -5. Haley, Grease. Gotta specify. Positive or negative? You're right. Good job. I was testing you. Good job. Okay, let's go to the bottom. 35 plus 13. This is what you've seen since you've probably been in about 2nd or 3rd grade. Anybody want to take a stab at it? Haley? Lubin? 48. Good job. Let's go to the top here. -9 plus -18. If you don't remember, it's like all cats or all reds on your desk. What do you think? What do you got? Ella? -27. -10 plus 8. That's like 8 cats in here and 8 dogs. 10 cats and 8 dogs. You can make 8 zero pairs. What do you got left over, Haley Grease? -2. And same thing for the bottom, 24 plus -12. Anybody else want to take a stab at it? These two are like clearing the board here. It's kind of like Jeopardy. They're like taking it all. Kale? What was that? 12. You're right. Good job. Any questions on these? This is like what you're going to see in your homework today. Okay? Something else you're going to see in your homework, I'm almost done, just hang tight, is when they add a few more together for you. They're going to make like maybe, a group of maybe 3 or 4 numbers you're going to add together. Now there's a few ways that you can do this. You can add the negatives together, and then you can add the positives together, and then you can add all of them together. You could go down the line and add them all together. I don't care as long as you find a way. So here's an example of one way you could do it. Okay, I'm going to show you 2 ways. First example, you might take your negatives, and you might add those together. Well, -4 plus -3 is -7. Okay? And then you might take 6 plus 9. What is that, 15? Add them together, 8. That's the way you could do it. That's one way. Adding your positives and your negatives. Okay, another way, can I erase this? Good. Okay, another way, just go from left to right. Well, I'm going to do this first. This is going to be 2. Then I'm going to add this part to it. It should be -1. Then I'm going to add this part to it, which is going to be 8. That's another way. I'm just going straight across the board. A few times I noticed last year they would do something like this. Okay. Do you see something in here that could cancel out already? Cancel it out then. Don't even add it in. What do you got left? 4 and 9? Well, 13 then. Find things that cancel each other out. Yeah. No, I agree. Most of it's just mental. And I don't care if you do it mentally or not. Some of you might actually have to write some things out. That's fine. You don't have to write them. No, you don't have to write some things out. I mean, I don't expect you to show like dogs and cats. I mean, I don't expect you to do that because eventually the goal is to do it in your head anyway. And I know if you're all staying in here and doing your homework, you're just going to do it in your head anyway. You're not hopefully using your calculator under your desk or something. So, any questions on those? But most likely it's going to be a bigger number, like something like this. So do you want to do them by yourself? Do you want to work on them together? Selves, go for it. Be my guest. See if you can do them. Be my guest. I like it when you tell me or ask me if we can try it by ourselves. Sometimes I forget that. Yeah. Parentheses just keep that negative with that number. Yeah. They just make it so it doesn't have that positive and minus right beside each other. Just we'll keep it kind of separate. Yeah. you guys ready? We need another second yet? You do, that's fine. How did you do this one up here? What did you do? There was a few methods, because in the other class, I did it one, me and another kid did it a way, and everybody else did it another way. Okay, so Haley, what did you do? So you got to 2. Okay, 20. That's a good way. That's what I would have done, because I want to get my stuff done to like the smallest thing as possible. That's what I would have done. Did anybody do it a different way? Yep. Okay, so you did your positives first. And I think, what is that, 43? Is that right? Plus negative 23. And then you would have gotten 40, or I'm sorry, 20, right? Yep, either way. Either way works fine. Definitely. What about this one over here? What did you do over here? I bet I know what everybody did on this one. Ella? Yeah, I probably would have done that too. That's what it would have looked like. And then what did you get for an answer? Like negative 58 should have been the answer, I think. Okay, good job. Nice work. Today, they're also going to throw some story problems out at you. Now, here's the thing. You can answer the story problems any way you want. You do not have to do what we've done in class. You can do whatever you want. So, like, here's an example of a story problem. And, like, you're going to see what I mean here in a second. So, this is a bank account and has $50 in it. What is the balance after the debit card was used for $33 and $41? What would you do to solve this? What would you do? Desi, what would you do? From 50, even though it would be a negative number. Who would do that? Because that's what I would do. Let me show you what the book suggests you do. Then we should take 50 plus negative 33 plus negative 41. Now, why would those two be negative? Why would those two be negative, Desi? You're taking out or your money. I would not do this. That would not be the first thing I would do if I saw this in a book at home. I would do it the way Desi said it. So you can do whatever you want to solve the story problems, okay? As long as you get the right answer, it doesn't matter to me. Because when you're old, you're not going to say, what did Mrs. Christoffel teach us in 8th grade again? How do we do it? And you're going to solve it your own way. So you solve the story problems your own way, and I'm perfectly fine with it. Sound good? There's only like 3 story problems today, and they're a lot like this. Questions for me? That is all, everybody.